And we are live with Fatima Thomas. Hello, Fatima.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you, Megan.
So Fatima is joining us from New York City, from Harlem, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And she is a M.A.C Cosmetics Senior National Artist, which I think is so cool. I actually was looking today at what I put on. I was like, what is my normal everyday? I don't even know anymore. And the thing that I have to keep in stock all the time is the mineralized skin finish, the powder.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing that too. I'm wearing
Are
that.
you? It
That's
is
my everyday. That or
every
sleeves
day.
pants. Those are my go-tos.
Yeah, the foundation and then the soft and gentle on me. If I run out of those, I'm in very serious trouble.
Soft and gentle is the jam. It is
Oh,
the jam.
I know it looks good on everybody, and it is one of the things that I always have, like, one for me, one for my kit, one for me,
Yeah.
one for my kit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had those on, and then this is turning into this, but I just wanted to tell you because I love it so much that I like to watch the Dazzle shadow. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah. I love that.
Where is it? It's
Yes.
like crazy sparkles.
Yes.
Oh, it makes my soul happy.
Yes.
Anyway, so we tried to do this before, and the technical gods were against us, and I lost power for like 6 hours here.
I mean, they were really coming for us. Not only did the tech not work, just the power went off. I'm like,
The
okay,
whole thing.
you can't fight that.
No, it said, no, you guys need to do this a different day. So here we are. And again, thank you for joining me on this podcast. During this time, I thought that it would be such a positive point for people to listen to professionals that are in our industry. I made it a kind of big umbrella. I just had like the entertainment industry. And I was thinking about what we talked about the other day. And I wanted to ask you about, for the makeup avenue, you could have gone into it in different ways, and you kind of went into it in a more traditional beauty / fashion uh, direction, as opposed to theater or um, like special effects, prosthetic land labs, those types of things. What do you think? Was that conscious, or just you were drawn to the beauty side
Well,
of it?
I came into beauty working for a brand. I did some freelance before, and that was maybe just a few years before I came to a brand. So when you work for a brand, especially a brand like M.A.C that is very ubiquitous, I've gotten to interface with a lot of different genres or areas of makeup artistry. I have done theater. I
Yeah.
have done work for theater. I don't do prosthetics. I can do some out of kit fun stuff, but I didn't go to school for prosthetics. That wasn't my thing. I didn't want to work with chemicals and mix stuff and make cast and sculpting. I really like watching other pros do that. I think it's fascinating and what people can create. But I'm pretty much strictly paint and powder. So working for a brand, I've been exposed and worked in a lot of different places in the industry. Television, I've done some short or small films and productions, and yeah, mainly fashion and beauty.
Yeah. And the fashion side of it is very exciting. I think, and especially maybe for like younger makeup artists that are listening or will listen, and they see Fashion Week, which obviously looks different this year. But traditionally wondering, like, how do I wind up even knowing the people to talk to be in Fashion Week? And M.A.C is such a huge sponsor for a lot of the shows. Do you remember your first Fashion Week?
Absolutely not. I mean, I've been working backstage for Fashion Week, at least New York Fashion Week. I've been doing since 2000 for 20 years. So no, I don't remember. It's not that precious to me, right? My first show, because after you do 1,000 of them, it's like, oh, okay. I started in 2000. My first fashion show was here in New York. That much I can tell you. I don't remember what the show was. And a few short years later, I was doing shows in the other major fashion cities as well, London, Milan, and Paris. You know, people who want to work in fashion and who want to do fashion shows, there is a sort of traditional, time honored way to get in that arena. And it's about reaching out to agencies that rep some of the more big artists who do fashion shows. So it's really important to know the players in fashion. A lot of those top makeup artists are also the players in a lot of beauty and advertising work as well. You need to know the top players. You need to know like the mid-range players. You need to know the agencies. If you want to work in fashion, it would behoove you to move to a city that has a major fashion industry. I'm not saying that other cities aren't fashionable. It's not about being fashionable. It's about where the industry and where the work is. So most top designers are based, in New York, London, Paris, Milan. And even if they aren't, that's where many of them go to show, because those are the pinnacle cities where you go to show your clothes for every season, to sell them to buyers and to get magazines interested so that you can keep your business afloat as a designer. Well, the rest of the industry is also building up around that. A lot of the major representation and ad companies are also based in big cities like New York and Los Angeles. So if you want to work on, a campaign for a major brand or a TV commercial, you probably want to be in one of those cities where that production happens. And then going to agencies and putting your name on their roster as a person who's available to assist. Assisting is a way a lot of freelance makeup artists will work their way through the ranks. And you can, depending on your path, it's different for everyone. I've known people who assisted for 2 or 3 years, and I've known people who assisted for 5 or more years before they went out on their own. It just really depends on you and your journey and what your plan is and how much go get 'em you have. But that's typically how it happens. You start by apprenticing or assisting another major, artist who's already established, and you do the work. You do that entry level grunt work. You keep somebody's kit and brushes clean. You help set things up for them. You keep their everything organized for them. You can then sit and learn from them as they do their craft at their high ability. And your relationship with that person, it just depends on what the two of you build, and some people might assist several different artists. Some artists don't want to share their assistance. It depends on the person and the relationship that you seek out, because there's no set formula for how those relationships go. But knowing what you want, knowing what you want to get out of it is important. And also delivering what's expected of you is very important.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think that in my experience anyway, a lot of people don't understand what assisting is and how much you just absorb, like you said, just from watching and learning. And they think like, oh, I don't want to wash brushes and stuff. And it's so much more than that, because you're seeing the protocols, how everything runs, what the etiquettes are. Like, it's such an amazing experience to have if you really embrace it and then use it to your advantage in a positive way as you grow as an artist.
That is the price you pay, washing brushes and helping to maintain the key makeup artist kit and doing the things and running the errands. That's the price you pay for being able to be on set with them, with some of the highest level of talented image makers in the industry. And that's just how it is. I mean, you have to work your way up. Some artists might have a first assistant who is their main person. They'll have a second and even a third, and there are hierarchies. And if you want to work in fashion, you have to understand that You won't just bust into it with your great makeup skills and have everything fall into your lap. You got to get in line, and you got to hustle, and you got to play your position and pay your dues.
Yeah.
So I think, a lot of people don't understand that on the outset, but those who do understand it and accept it and understand how that system works, get into that system and work their way up, and then they go on and soar. I know of several artists, like I have friends that years ago worked with Pat McGrath and assisted her, and they learned some amazing creative and technical skills because Pat is one of the best makeup artists in the game. I mean,
Yeah.
she's amazing. She has a huge team, and you have to audition to get on her team. So it's not just about your willingness to do the job. You also have to have, I think, a certain level of skill and something that she sees in you. But I've known people who've worked under Pat and some who still do, and they've all gone off after years of assisting her and soared and done their own thing. It's about paying your dues. And just like in the fashion world, many designers, not all, but many designers, before they establish their own houses and their own brands, have worked under other major brands to get their chops, to really learn the business and learn their trade. So you got to pay your dues. I don't care what industry you want to go into. It's not enough just to have talent and to be flossy and amazing and have a lot of products that you can put on people. You have to pay your dues, and you have to learn the etiquette and the culture of that industry. Because when you don't understand it, the etiquette, language, and the culture of the industry, you can really do yourself a disservice, and you can kind of set yourself behind and keep yourself from achieving some things in the time frame you want.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it too, in the time frame you want, because even as big as these industries are, as a whole, each one is also smaller. So like Cirque is very, very tiny, and then you have Theaterland, which is very tiny, and fashion and editorial, all of these kind of offshoots, and everybody knows each other. And so I think it's a very important rule to remember that you don't live in a vacuum, and I think that there's some wonderful artists that come out of it. It's just nice to touch on that, because I think that, like you said, people don't really understand how to get there, and it might not be what they want to hear. It's the hard, it's not the easy way, but in the end, I think it gives you a lot of character and texture to your life and your skill set.
If you really want that career, if you really want that path, nothing will stop you. You will grow a thicker skin. You'll pick yourself up and dust yourself off when you have a not so great experience, or when you trip and fall down or make a mistake. You'll get up and you'll dust off, and you'll keep moving forward, and you'll ask questions, and you'll listen more than you speak and learn, and you'll find your way. But you've got to want it. You've got to also understand that the people that you see in this industry that are at the top of their game and at the top of the industry, they work really hard, and they have for many years. They didn't just pop up at that level. They worked their way to that level. And if you want to get there, you have to do the same thing.
Now, did you work for M.A.C before you went to New York, or did you come to New York and then
I worked for M.A.C before I lived in New York.
And then you got to move. I always wanted to live in New York for like 2 years. I'm going to live in New York for 2 years. I never did.
There's almost no point moving here for just 2 years, because it's going to take you 2 years it takes the average person 2 years just really to acclimate to New York and the lifestyle, and really kind of hit your stride and enjoy being here. And by the time you do that, if you're only here for 2 years, you're leaving in 2 years. So,
do you have a favorite part of New York? And that's such a broad question, right? But are there certain parts of the city, or even in your neighborhood, that really bring you joy on certain occasions?
Living here, Central Park here in Manhattan, it's everybody's backyard. It's one of the biggest parks, I think, in the country. Probably it's huge, for a city park, for like a municipal park. And it's amazing. You can walk through Central Park 100 times, and each time you'll find a new little area that you might not have noticed before. Central Park is amazing. It's a place where I think New Yorkers can go and get in nature, get out of the concrete. So that's amazing. Um, I don't know. Do you hear that buzzing? Or is that just on my end?
Mm-mm.
There's a weird kind of buzzing happening. I'm not sure. Okay. If you can't hear it, then maybe everything's good. Yeah, Central Park is amazing. I mean, New York is densely packed with a lot of people, a lot of places, a lot of things, a lot of culture. Just walking the streets here is an adventure and can be inspiring and fun. So, but Central Park is one of, I think, most New Yorkers, especially if you live in Manhattan, it's a favorite place to go.
I love Central Park. Back when I was like 16, we went on my mom used to travel a lot. And so I went on a business trip with her, and Bow Bridge in Central Park. I was like, I'm going to get married there. I was like, I want to get married there, and I want to have everybody in rowboats. My mom was like, this is not a good plan. And I was like, I don't care. That's what I want. Well, I'm still not married, but maybe one day I'll be like 70 and be like, I'm getting married in Bow Bridge. It makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just beautiful. Oh, I love it. I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, during COVID, I've noticed that you have more and more like tutorials and things like that on Instagram Live. And I think that your skill set is so beautiful, and that the makeup application is so lovely, because it really brings out people's beauty instead of just like caking on all of this makeup, which in certain social media platforms is very popular. And so I just want to say, hey, thank you for
saying that.
Yeah, just teaching people how to, like, let's enhance your skin, let's enhance your brows. Like, you're already a beautiful person. How has it been during COVID doing those? Are you finding a stride or a new kind of renewed creativity in making content?
It's been fun. I think everybody had to do a pivot when we went into quarantine. And everybody, I mean, like every industry is trying to pivot. The one thing about cosmetics is it's one of those things, and there are other things, but it's a thing that you can show people and not have to be in the same room with them. It's a very demonstrative pursuit, cosmetics. So it's been fun talking about the things that I love, the products that I love, the ways that I like to use things. I'm a person who I love to share, especially information and knowledge. Whenever I get some, I love to share it with other people, and I've always been that way. And that's, I think, been a great plus for me at M.A.C, because there were always positions for people like me who like to learn, like to grow, and then who like to go on and share it with others. And so I just get to do that now on Instagram and with my followers. And I kind of can just have a bee in my bonnet about something. Maybe there's a product that I want to feature that I think this is amazing. I want to tell people about it. Or I want, to answer some questions that my followers have been putting forward to me. Like, how do we do this? I want to know how to work on this type of eye shape, or how do I do my brows, and how do I do an alternative to everything else I see? And that's great, because I'm also not a young person. I'm a middle-aged person. So I totally keep up with like new trends and youth trends with millennials and Gen Z. But I'm a Gen Xer, so I also know what my generation is into and sort of how diverse we are. And then I'm also thinking about more mature, ageless beauty as well, because we get older, we want to continue to have fun and express ourselves with cosmetics. Many of us do. And there's nothing to say that you can't still enjoy beauty and makeup and it's fun. You know, it can be a lot of fun to play in makeup, to discover new colors, to find that great new skin cream that's giving you life and glow and plumpness. And, you know, I think there's a way to speak to a lot of different people in an easy way with social media. So it's been fun. And I'm trying to use that to my advantage and to the advantage of my followers, you know?
Yeah. No, it's been really fun to watch the different tutorials, and especially I think, you know, there's a lot of makeup artists that we talk about in the professional land that they don't really know how to handle any kind of skin other than Caucasian, which is a problem if you're a professional makeup artist. And so it is also really nice to see that you're showcasing different foundations and different pigments and colors, and that you don't have to cake it on. Like, you know, I just think that it's a wonderful delight in my day whenever I see that, and it's so educational to aspiring makeup artists as well as professional ones, just trying to up their game a little bit, you know?
Yeah. And whatever a person wants to wear, there's a way to make it more beautiful and more perfected and refined. So I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And during those times, wearing full coverage foundation, wearing a really rich concealer, and then setting it all with powder, that was the norm. So none of that is new. That's what people did in the 70s. That's what people did in the 80s. You set your foundation with a powder and you had lots of coverage. And I'm all about helping my followers and my customers and clients. Like, I want to help them find the way to get that's going to be easy and not, you know, not so laborious, but how do we get you between point A and B with the straightest line, with the most effective and efficient techniques and products? So if you want a lot of coverage, we can do that, but how do we make it look luxurious and amazing, right? And if you want sheer coverage, how do I help you do that and get it to look and feel amazing so that you feel amazing in it?
And that's the key, right? I mean, I feel like the psychological key to makeup, and even costume design and hairstyling, but especially the key to makeup is so psychological, is that the end result is you want to feel a certain way. And it's really nice to see that coming through, you know, from you on Instagram, and showing people that aspect of it, other than we're just going to try out all of these highlighters all at once and see what happens, instead of, no, let's try a really nice one.
Whatever a person wants to wear is okay.
Yeah.
My job as an expert makeup artist is to help them find the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's also enjoyable and doesn't frustrate them. So sometimes I'm translating products and techniques to make them more approachable to people who aren't makeup artists. They might know their way around a makeup brush, but they're like, hey, I'm not a professional like you. Make this easier for me. So that's always the challenge, and where the excitement lies for me is, okay, how can I formulate and translate techniques and things that you could do to get the look you want, but not feel that you're failing or that I'm going to mess it up.
Right.
Because whatever you want to wear is okay. And that, you know, I don't judge. I love seeing people in makeup, male, female, gender neutral, all in between, fluid. I love when people wear tons of makeup. I love when people wear a ton of makeup to make it look like there's no makeup. I just love makeup. I love the possibilities of makeup and what one can do. It's just as fascinating to me to see a woman pull out a lipstick or a lip gloss and just apply that and then push her brows up with her fingers on the train, as it is for me to see the woman with her makeup bag sitting on her lap, and she's got her compact mirror and she's doing her blush, then she's filling in her brows, and she's doing the whole face. I think what it tells me is, it just reminds me that there's something for everybody, and what we each choose to do is what we each choose to tell the world about us. Because one thing I don't necessarily like for people to do is to feel that they have to use makeup to always hide who they are. I think
Mhm.
I want them to use makeup to bring out and announce who you are. So whether that's minimal or maximal, it's really about you owning yourself and owning who you are and feeling pride in that, no matter what you look like, no matter your age, your skin tone, your gender,
Yeah.
nothing. Just own yourself and be secure in that, finding security in that, and using makeup as a tool to make you feel great and also to pronounce that to others who meet you during the day, who encounter you, whether it be strangers or people that you see all the time. You know, it's the same with clothes. I mean, we could all be wearing, just sacks and rope around us or belt, but there's a reason that we put a lot of creativity into clothing, into shoes, into hairstyles, because it's a way that we communicate something about ourselves.
Yeah. It's so true. Absolutely. Is there, you know, so the first time we went through this, we kind of did a little bit more background. And so I'm like, oh, we already talked about that, but we didn't, not really for this. But it is interesting listening to you talk about watching the application of things and the differences between stuff, because we'll back up a little bit for our viewers and listeners, that you are an artist in the beginning, right? Wasn't that your love of art and that translated into doing makeup?
Yeah.
And it is interesting to see how that still, it still translates, watching people, how they apply things and how people make art on their face is still something that's so fascinating. So let's back up a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your foray getting into makeup.
I had a good friend at that time in my life who really suggested the obvious to me. I've always loved makeup. I've always loved fashion and beauty. Even as a little kid, like a little kid, 3, 4 years old, I was getting on the dresser, getting my mom's makeup, sneaking and playing in it. And what I didn't know then is that she always knew that I was getting in her stuff. But I think she was fascinated because I didn't destroy her makeup as a 3 or 4 year old. Like, she didn't come in and go, oh my God, like, and there's lipstick all over the place and all over my clothes, and the lipstick is maybe all chopped up. No, I respected the makeup, and I didn't want her to know I was playing in it. So I tried to keep things neat, but I would try to make myself look like Lena Horne, who I'd see in these old black and white movies. And for those who don't know, Lena Horne was an actress, or an actor, I prefer to say actor, in the early 20th century, early to mid 20th century. She was a black woman.
Gorgeous.
She was a great beauty. And I would see her in these films, and I just thought she was so deliciously beautiful. And I loved how her lipstick was painted on and how her face was contoured. And I would try to mimic that on my face. So I've always loved it. And I've always loved drawing, painting, crafting, making things. So it's not a surprise to me that I became a makeup artist. It's a surprise to me, I guess, that it took me as long as it did. So a good friend pointed this out to me when I was in my mid-20s, and I'd taken some time off from college and was deciding to go back. And she sort of dissuaded me from going back to college because she knew that I had this passion that just was natural for me. And she was like, make a career out of that. I said, oh yeah, that's a good idea, because
That makes sense.
makeup is everywhere. Makeup is if you watched political debates, those politicians have makeup artists, the males and the females.
Yeah.
Every television commercial, there's makeup artists working. Every movie you watch, if you sit in a bus shelter and there's an ad with people in it, a makeup artist worked on that project and got paid. And makeup artists, and I was like, yeah, makeup artists are out there. They're kind of like the hidden but obvious thing, but it's something I love, and there are a lot of different genres to choose from. So maybe you want to work in movies, maybe you want to work in television, maybe you want to work in fashion and beauty and editorial. There, you know, or do you want to do commercial? Because I had friends that did a lot of catalog work, and they were doing really well. And I'm like, there's places for me to work as a makeup artist. I can do this. So, and I'm happy, and it makes me happy to put makeup on people. And it makes me happy to have a really valid excuse to buy a crap ton of makeup to build a kit. Like, that's not just for myself, but I have an excuse now to buy makeup because I have to buy makeup for my kids. So it was all the things I wanted to do that I could turn into a career. So drawing and painting is just, you know, we're still drawing and painting as artists, whether you do special effects and you also might do some sculpting. The same understanding of, I think, aesthetics applies whether you design makeup for faces or whether you design a beautiful chair for a home or whether you design the exterior of an automobile. You're still considering proportion, you're considering color, texture, shape, all of those things. So being able to play with those things on a face is just, to me, it never gets old, never gets boring.
No, right? I was explaining this to somebody the other day about how you can be like, I'm going to do a smoky eye on 10 different people today, but you have 10 different, it's never the same experience because their skin is different, their eye shape is different, their texture is different, their personality is different in your chair. Like, so it never ever gets old.
Never. Never.
Really. You might be a super blender that day, and then the next day you're like, well, I'm not blending anything today very well. That's awesome. Like, but when it works, you're like, oh my gosh, I blended that so beautiful. Like, oh, it's such a moment of.
And think about that topic of a smoky eye. That is such a broad topic.
Oh yeah.
How to approach a smoky eye, because you can do a smoky eye with one pencil and a brush, or you could do a smoky eye with a palette. There's so many ways to approach it, just based on what you want the end result to be and how much time you have to spend on it.
And the relative definition of the person sitting. I learned very early on, somebody said, I want a smoky eye. So I just busted out like crazy dark 1920s, like, and they flipped out. They were like, woo! And so now I say, why don't you send me like 2 or 3 pictures of what you feel a smoky eye is, so we're on the same page. Because yeah, they might just want a little smudge, and that is plenty. And then every once in a while you have the person that's like, no, I want like a smoky eye.
You want more.
But it's very relative.
It is, because there's so many ways to wear a smoky eye.
Yeah. I do love a smoky eye. I feel like as I've gotten older, my eyes water a little bit more.
Me too. Me too.
I don't know what that is. It's very annoying when I want to wear a smoky eye, though.
I know, especially when I want a line in my waterline and my eye won't stop watering, and then it gets that little bald spot out here on the corner. Oh, that makes me so annoyed, because I'm like, I don't want you to do that. I want my eyes to be the way they used to be, where I could put anything on them, and they didn't water. But yeah,
I know. We're getting older. It's okay. Yeah. We're just still as fabulous. It's fine.
I find my little workarounds.
Do you have any favorite? I mean, my favorite products change almost monthly, sometimes weekly when I'm really into thing. Do you have anything that is like you're obsessed with at the moment?
I really believe in our eye coals at M.A.C. They're these beautiful creamy pencils that you can line your eye and define, but if you want to smudge, you can smudge. So they're pencils, but they can act like a creamy eyeshadow. And I love using those to layer my powdered shadows on top of. I'm nuts about one called Feline, because it is the absolute blackest black. And I don't know, I have a little bit of it smudged in my upper lash line. You might be able to see it. Yeah. Because there's a person with brown skin, sometimes the regular black liners, they look a little dusty on me and on her skin tone. So I want it to look rich. I love feline pencil. I never buy fewer than like 2 of them at a time because I use it faithfully and I go through them, and I always want to have one in the hatch from when I run out. And I just love how I can smudge it and then put something shimmery like your I like to watch shadow, glaze that on top, and it just looks like this magical creation. I really love layering. I'm a big fan of layering, especially with eye makeup, of layering creams first and then putting powders over them, because I love how it makes creams make the powders pop more in color and texture, but then they give this really beautiful skin-like look to everything. You know, they're creams. And I love layering creams and powders together. That's a big thing for me. So whether it's a pencil or whether it's in a palette, I love my creamy textures. I also love, right now, I've been really jammed with, we have this new plumping glossy lip product called, oh gosh, why did I forget the name? Hold on, I have it right here. It comes in different colors, but I have this color. This is my go-to. It's called Hourglass. Hourglass plumping lip gloss. It comes in, I don't know, like 12 or 14 colors. They're nudes, they're brights, they're neutrals. It feels so good. It feels cushiony and amazing. It's not sticky. And it has a little tingle. So, you know, you feel like your lips are plumped up just a little bit. You know, it really maximizes what you got. And I like my lips. I don't have luscious, great, nice lips. So they're okay. I like them, but I want more. So I use this.
What is it called again?
It's called Hourglass.
Hourglass. I'm going to have to, because mine too, I need a little smoochy. Oh, that's cute. Is this part of like a limited?
No, it's not limited. And let me show you the applicator. This is another thing I love about it, because it's got this like squiggly S-curve applicator that hugs your lip. Can you see that?
Yeah. So
it just, I already have something on, but look, it just hugs your lip. You just turn it and it feels so good, and it smells good. And it's not sticky. So I know I'm a lip gloss lover. I don't care about it being sticky. I know some people love lip gloss and we like the stickiness. That's how I know it's staying in place. But for people who don't want that feeling and they want something that feels more lightweight and balmy, this is amazing. I love these.
I'm going to get that one because I don't like the sticky as much, just because my hair at Vegas was so windy that it would get stuck. And I was like, and then you have like the line of, so that might be my jam.
You have to try this then. You'll love it. You will love it because it feels balmy.
I love
it. Feels really balmy. Even on top of the lip gloss, it feels nice. And it's got that like fresh, cool, minty feel on the lips. Oh, so I'm really digging those. Like, that's a new product that came out a few months ago. Feline we've had for years, and it's my jam. And yeah, you know, I have, like, when it comes to color, it changes because I just get different moods. I get different things. But I will say the art library palettes, especially for any up and coming artists that are out there, and you want to build a kit, you want to have a nice comprehensive collection of eyeshadow colors that you can use,
as you should,
on a lot of different skin tones, on a lot of different style types and profiles. Get Art Library. Definitely get Nude Model and get Flamboyant. And then when you're ready to start building like colorful pops of color, then go ahead and get the It's Designer. With the 3 of those, you can function well as a makeup artist and do anybody's makeup and get a lot of different styles. Those and a few good pencils, and you're rolling. And then, of course, you can add, you know, singles and customize your own palette at M.A.C too, which I highly recommend because, you know, customization is always fun.
Yes.
And it's a great way to add to some of the things that you have that you love, but that, you need to supplement. So we've got those. I'm a big believer in our pro palettes.
The pro palettes are great. Gosh, we used to get the Back to Max. We had so much product at CA that we would take stuff in and do Back to Max. And so it was really great because I got to find a lot of new shadows and stuff. So we started to buy the palettes and then pop them out because you couldn't get the Back to Max that were refills. So we would just pop them out.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun though, because I've pulled some new ones. I have like a little studio set up here, and I forgot about like Sumptuous Olive.
Oh, love it.
Right.
A beautiful shimmering. It's like a beautiful, looks like taffeta. That shimmer that you get on taffeta.
There we go. You can kind of see the color for people. Yeah, it's like the perfect olive shade.
And it looks good on everybody. I don't care if you're fair porcelain skin. I don't care if you're deep, rich ebony or anywhere in between. I've used that color. I've used Sumptuous Olive on every skin tone. It looks amazing on everybody.
It's so, and that would be amazing on top of like the kohl liner. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I might have to play with some makeup tonight.
Yeah.
The one that we really had to nail down was the fluid line, the black track. So M.A.C was officially Cirque's sponsor.
Right.
It might still have been at the end. We used a mix between M.A.C and Ben Nye on our show, which is how I met Fatima. If people are like, how do you know her? She was so gracious and came out and did a workshop for us at the Cirque Training Center.
We would come out. We would actually come out to Vegas once a year and do trainings for the Cirque team.
Yeah, I don't know. That year I was like, I'm going to this, and it was so fun and so informative. And so when I started doing Behind the Biz, one of my pivots over quarantine, I was like, I want to talk to Fatima. I want to rack her brain and see, what's going on over there. But this product, Natalie Gagne, our designer, is obsessed with. I think it would be okay for me to say that because it's in all of her makeups. And
what is it?
The fluid line.
Yes.
Black track.
Yes.
And so learning, when I train people on how to use this in any way, and like doing little and then blending it with the eyeshadow and moving it really quickly because it does dry so quick. But this is such a go-to for weddings. And I mean, if I'm like, you can cry and this is not going to go anywhere, it's fine. It's great.
So for people who don't know, fluid line is a gel liner that comes in a jar, comes in a little jar. It's long wearing. It comes in a few colors. I don't remember every color, but I know it comes in black. It comes in brown.
I think it doesn't have like a navy or something.
I think so. I'm not sure what I can check while we're talking. And it's great with different brushes. The brush that you use with will determine the type of line you get. So if you want, of course, a really sharp, clean graphic line, you want to use a liner brush or an angled brush. It's also good if you want to smudge it out, which I like it with like a smudging or pencil brush. Like at M.A.C, we have one called the 219. It's like a pencil that, like a smudger. We also make a product that's similar to it. I would say it's sort of the if not the sister, the cousin to fluid line. It's called Chroma line gel liners. Those are available on our website. They're a M.A.C Pro product. So imagine if you could get that gel liner in a blue, a red, a yellow, a cyan, and a magenta, as well as black and white, and some of your secondary colors too, like orange and purple and green. So you could have a set of artist colors that use to mix and customize your own colors. So those are also available. Chroma lines, which, like I said, they're the sister, if not the cousin, to fluid lines. And fluid line still comes in a violet. It still comes in a deep like a deep kind of charcoal gray, which that one, it's called Midnight
Yeah.
Snack. I use that one sometimes to fill in my brows because
Oh,
I know a lot of people my complexion and with dark hair will use a dark brown, but I actually prefer a soft black to fill in my brows. And yeah, we still have the deep brown and we still have the chocolate brown,
hmm.
and that violet is gorgeous. But you can check them out at the M.A.C site.
I'm gonna check out the Chroma. What did you say? Chroma line?
Chroma lines, yep.
Chroma line. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'm always wanting to build up the customizable things. And, you know, if you are wanting to be a makeup artist, learn your color theory because it will get you
Mhm.
everywhere.
Mhm.
That sounds amazing just to have like another set of colors like that. Um, I want to ask you some kind of fun questions that don't necessarily have anything to do with any of this, but one of them that I found very interesting is if you could have dinner
Uh-huh.
with anyone, and some people are like, I need like 3 people, so that's fine. Um, Living or gone, who would it be? Who would you sit down and have a
If I could have dinner with any three people, oh boy. I haven't thought about this question in years. Nobody's asked me this in years.
right?
The first person that comes to mind is Henry Cavill, honey, because he's so cute. I would definitely love to have dinner with him. And maybe nobody else, maybe just me and Henry. Two other people that I would love to, I'm going to slide over a little bit. Two other people. Huh.
Henry Cavill, he's so gorgeous. Oh,
I would love to have dinner. Oh gosh. And then there's like, okay, so only three. Mm,
I mean, you can have a dinner party if you want, but
but three, but that's the magic of a question. You have to limit and choose wisely. I would love to have dinner with Viola Davis, Mahershala Ali, and Henry Cavill.
this would be a very yummy and lovely dinner party.
Yeah, because I find acting very fascinating that a person that their craft could be to inhabit another identity for a while and then convince the rest of us of that identity in order to tell us a story.
And
That's
then
very
go back.
fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
go back to there's do you watch The Good Doctor? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'm familiar with it. It's the Freddie Highmore, right?
Yeah, and it's the autistic
Mm-hmm.
genius doctor. And I've watched him, you know, in August Rush and some other movies, and he's absolutely not that character at all. And so, but watching him, I'm like, I mean, just amazing. He
Yeah.
never breaks, he never does anything, and it's just fascinating. I feel you on that 100%. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's a fabulous dinner party. Now, if you could live anywhere in the world, money is not an option. And some people wouldn't want to live there, but they want to have an extended sabbatical to whatever this place is. Where would you park yourself?
Where I am. I live where I want to live. And I don't have a lot of money. So this is where I want to live. I think I've always wanted to live in New York, even when I was a little kid and I came
Yeah.
here the first time to visit family. There was something really fascinating and just this city. I think I knew most of my time. I think I knew I was coming to New York at some point in my life. I would be here. So yeah, I live where I want to live now. I would like to live if money was no object. My living situation in New York would be very different than what it is now. It would be a bit more highbrow, but I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable.
Is there any place that you've ever wanted to visit on like vacation that you've never gone yet?
I've never been to Japan. I would love to go to Japan. I would love to visit Tokyo, Kyoto, and different places in the countryside. I would like to go to Australia. I've never been to Australia. I've been to New Zealand, but not Australia. I'd like to go to Ghana and
Oh,
some of the other nations in West Africa, because I know that's where my ancestors are from. So I'd like to go explore those areas and get in touch with my roots. And I've been a lot of the other places I've wanted to go. So, you know, I think I'd like to go to Seoul too, South Korea.
oh yeah. That would be very interesting. Japan is always it was never on my list, and then some friends went there on tour and all of their photos looked fake. And I was like, "Where are you? It's so gorgeous." Like I was really shocked by how stunning the countryside was in particular. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing I really love about Japan is their packaging.
Mm.
They have like the cutest, most thoughtful and intentional packaging
Mm-hmm.
that I've ever seen. So I'm like, I want to go there and have like an amazing time and have cute little packages and things and tied, their makeup and everything is just always, here's some soap with like an amazing ribbon on top. And you're like, it's
Yeah.
so special.
Yeah.
I love that. Um, before we go, I cannot believe it's already been almost an hour, which is crazy. Before we go, do you find that there is a certain motto or phrase that you live by or say to yourself a lot? Especially, I guess, now while we're kind of in a weird moment in history, but something that helps you affirm where you are and where you're going?
You're asking the deep questions. I mean, I think first and foremost, what is it? The doctor's credo: do no harm. I think we can all embrace that to live by. You know, do no harm, and really just let love. And I don't mean love in the more basic terms of affection. I mean a higher, more sort of philosophical love, the love that is love your enemy, love your neighbor, love thyself. Let love be your compass. And I think if all of us try to do that, we can do better in every area of our life and in society too. Um, those are the things that that's what I live by, and it's not always easy because, people, sometimes we can try each other, we can push each other, we can try each other in very negative ways and things happen. And I'm not particularly a religious person, but I do believe in a lot of spiritual tenets. And I think that, love one another is one of the most important things that one of the most important phrases we can embrace, but what that really means. I don't have to like you to love you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the lesson, that I don't have to agree with you to love you, but love is about respecting your life, respecting your existence, and cherishing it, even if I don't really get down with you like that.
Yeah.
Respecting that. So, and respecting your right to live as you see fit. And I think everybody should be able to live as they see fit, so long as you don't stand on anybody else's foot, do harm, or block anyone else's path. Do you, but don't keep someone else from doing them because you either don't understand it or don't agree with it. It's not your business. So maybe the biggest thing we could all live by is like, mind your business.
Right.
You
Yeah. No, I think that that's great. And it's definitely something I'll try and remind myself of sometimes when patience is a little short. I'll come back and think about what you've said. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me on here. It was so lovely to talk to you.
It was good to catch up with you. I'm glad you're doing well and doing your thing and you've made your pivots. And, anytime you'd like to chat, I'm around.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to follow Fatima on Instagram, there is her fabulous Instagram. I encourage you to do so because her tutorials are lovely, along with your other content. It's very inspirational and motivating.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll keep our eyes out for you. Yeah, you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And then just hang on. I'm going to end the broadcast and we'll say our goodbyes. So
Okay.
thanks for joining, everybody. Subscribe to Behind the Biz on Instagram and Academy MWD. And we'll see you next time. Here we go. We'll just end this.